The greatest reason I am so passionate about helping people to overcome in their life and their journey is my own personal story. You see, a big part of my journey has been facing the overwhelming feelings of anxiety, panic attacks, obsessive compulsive kind of thinking, social phobic realities, and just overall fear that just wouldn't let go and wouldn't stop. I know what it feels like to be in the deep trenches of it, where I feel like I had nowhere to go, to feel so overwhelmed, yet looking around and it seems like everybody's just going through their own motions and I'm alone in this world battling all this stuff and it seems like I'm the only one going through it. This didn't happen overnight. I didn't all of a sudden just wake up and was riddled with anxiety and panic attacks. It actually happened over a period of time where anxious moments then built into anxious days and weeks, where kind of panic-ridden moments then moved into panic-ridden days and weeks. The obsessive thinking began to build and overall just fear-based oppression just clouded me, took out my state of mind and really infected my mood. And so I did what most people would do in their journey that are wanting help because I wanted to be free. I started with church counselor, a outside counselor, therapist, a psychologist, to psychiatrist, to then using medication, to then just being in a place of desperation where no matter where I turned, no matter what I did, no matter what I looked to, things just seemed to get worse. So I decided in my journey that I was going to pray a very courageous and bold prayer, and it was this: God, if you have answers to this, I want them. If there's things in your word that you want to say to me about this situation, even if it makes me uncomfortable, even if I have to go through a process and a journey, I'll do it. I'll face what I need to face. I'll deal with what I need to deal with because I want freedom that badly. So it led me onto a journey, and there are 3 keys that really helped me in my life, that if you face fear-based thinking in any way, shape, or form, this is going to be the leverage that's going to help you move into freedom and experience the greater potential that is available for your life. The first thing is teachability. I positioned my heart to use this battleground as a place of discovery and as a place of learning. You see, when we're teachable, we realize we don't have all the answers, we don't know it all. Teachability produces a humble heart, where we learn to position ourselves for the learning that is needed to learn what we don't know and what we don't possess. So I began to lean into the discovery. I began to lean into this process rather than saying, just get it off of me, pray this away from me, somebody help just quickly rescue me. I began to start realizing, okay, there's stuff I've got to learn. There's things that I need to be taught to help me in this process of overcoming anxiety, panic attacks, and fear-based battles that I had. To be teachable, I had to be willing to face faulty mindsets. You see, for many of us, we have areas of thinking, they're not healthy, they're not good, but we rely on them anyway, and they just empower fear. I had to be willing in teachability to let those areas be confronted so that I could renew those ways of thinking and open myself up to the truth, which Jesus said shall make you free. This teachability also helped me to position myself in passion and hunger. See, most people are not going to be teachable if they're not going to humble themselves and if they're not going to be willing to say, I want freedom for my life more than anyone else could want it for me. And I'm hungry. I want to be free, whatever it takes. When you develop a whatever it takes mindset, you position yourself to be taught to receive what you need to know to go to the next level in your overcoming. The second thing I did was I got vulnerable. The power of vulnerability, which means I positioned my heart in a way where I started to let down my guards, I started to let down the defense mechanisms, humbled myself, and I allowed my heart to share what I was going through with others for a couple of reasons. Number one, in that vulnerability, you receive the things that you need to receive. As I became more vulnerable, other people were saying, you know what, I go through the same things myself. I found when I was vulnerable, shame got pushed away because so many of us in our battles live under shame, so we never get the help and breakthrough we need because we feel so small and so weak in the battles that we're facing. I decided vulnerability was worth it. And in that, through the vulnerability, God brought people into my path that carried things I needed to learn and things I needed to gain. So He put mentors in my path. And these were not necessarily people who stood up on platforms or famous people. There might be an occasional book here or there, but a lot of times it was the prophet in the shadows. A lot of times it was the person in conversation. It was the dinner meeting, the lunch meeting, a casual conversation of just sharing what you're going through, and someone else has an amazing perspective to share in a certain area that just helped unlock to piece by piece give me the precepts and things I needed to grow and go to the next level in my life. But I had to be willing to be vulnerable, because then when we're vulnerable, we get real. And we stop playing all the games that we play in our lives. I also saw that in being vulnerable, other people were being encouraged. Like, this is awesome. You're going through this too. I'm going through this. Or my husband or my wife or my child or my nephew, my friend is going through the same thing too. What's God shown you? What have you learned? And then we're sharpening each other. And where the enemy tried to cause us all to hide from each other, God is calling us to come out in vulnerability, be ourselves, and let the exchange of life help us go to the next level. The third key that was very important was processability. I had to even look up that word to make sure it's a real word, and it is. It's the ability to be processed. And I'm using that mainly because it's an ability word and it goes with the other two, but it really fits into what you need. So many people who come to me, they're intensely wanting to get free, but they want to get free overnight. They're thinking, I should have got free 10 years ago. Why am I still struggling? Why am I still struggling? And that pressure and that tension makes everything harder and more difficult to get free. God is not inviting you into a journey of added pressure. He's not condemning you, beating you up, accusing you, guilting you, adding weight. Actually, God is in the process of taking the weight off. And that's what fear often does, is add pressure. Hurry up and get well. Hurry up and get healed. Hurry up and get fixed, whatever that means. And God is inviting us into a process, a journey. And one of the greatest gifts I gave to myself was permission to engage process, a journey. That I wasn't just focused on a destination that I had to arrive at tomorrow, but I leaned myself into the learning that was necessary, being vulnerable, but realizing this is going to take some time. And I need to give myself permission to go through a process of transformation, because that is how we get changed in relationship, day by day, entering into the journey. So those are three things that helped me in my overcoming of anxiety, stress, OCD. They weren't everything, but this was the start and this was the beginning. I want to invite you to take the journey with me in my newest release of I Will Not Fear, a strategy to overcome anxiety, worry, and fear-based living. This is a power-packed book that has 28 short chapters. Each chapter has questions and prayers at the end. So piece by piece, layer by layer, I'm going to walk with you to share with you what I've learned and also help you to go to the next level in your life so you can begin to declare, I will not fear. But remember, it's a process. And I want to resource you to make the best of your process journey. If you're willing to be teachable, willing to work through vulnerably, and allow yourself to go through process, I believe God can truly meet you in your life. And I'm looking forward to hearing the great word of what He's going to do in your life as you face those areas of fear and overcome.